going to discuss today is about security and maintenance. So after your prelim exam, so this will be the next subject or next topic, I mean. This topic covered the security and maintenance. Covered also in a living in the IT era. Now, so what will be the lesson objective? In this lesson, you will learn about the need for computer security, how to identify risk, and how to combat them. You will also learn how to back up and restore files and to reset devices. You will also learn about the basics of troubleshooting. On the completion of this course or module, you should be able to describe how to keep your username and password safe, describe the risk presented by viruses, worms, Trojans, and malware, describe the risk associated with network connections, protect your information when using public computers, describe the risk presented by social engineering and phishing, describe methods for protecting against risk, and how to reset personal devices to their factory settings, explain how to back up and restore your data, and to describe basic troubleshooting techniques and understand basic troubleshooting techniques. Now, uh, so the need for security. As soon as you connect a computer to a network, you expose that system and the information stored on it to the potential risk associated with networking. The information stored on a network computer can, in theory, be accessed by computer connected to the network. If the network provides internet access, the risk increases. We need to take note that hackers are the people who try to gain unauthorized access to computer systems, employ many different methods to obtain what they want. In response, you must take steps to protect your computer and its data. Username and password. Your username and password protect your account from unauthorized access. Remember that your user account is associated with specific rights and permission, both on your local system and on your school or organization's network. Most attacks against network occur when unauthorized people guess or steal a user identity that is recognized by the system. By keeping your username and password confidential, you help to protect your personal data and the data on the network. Now, password protect your accounts. And you should take the following steps to create a strong password. Number 1, use a minimum of 6 characters. Sometimes a standard is set up by your school or organization. 8 or more characters is even better, with 15 characters considered the most secure. Number 2, include a mixture of numbers, letters, symbols, and capital letters. 3. Select a password that will be easy for you to remember but difficult for someone else to guess. Number 4. Avoid using the names of people close to you, such as members of your family, or the names of your pets. People who know you well enough can try to guess your password using this name first. Avoid using variation of your name or including your name, address, or birthday in your password. Avoid using a variation of a password that may be easy to guess, such as password -Jan, password -February, password 001, password _003, draw J12, draw F12, $, word, and so on. Keeping your account safe. Your account protects your files and your reputation. If you allow someone else to log on with your account, you can be held responsible for actions performed under your account name. For example, if someone sends threatening email from your account, recipient will think the messages came from you. If someone deletes important files on the network using your account, that activity will be traced back to you as well. In order to keep your account secure, you should protect your username and password and keep them to yourself. Follow these guidelines. Never share your account information, even with your uh, friends, best friends, loved ones, and others. If you accidentally share your logon information, change it immediately. Do not hide your password near your computer. For example, tucking a sticky note under your keyboard or in a desk drawer is not secure. Do not keep password cheat sheets. Do not use the name password for all your accounts. If someone guesses your password, they would have access to multiple accounts. But as I mentioned earlier, no, that your password must be not shared to anyone else. But it is also okay to give to your parents, no, or if you wanted to, or your husband or your wife, it is okay. Uh, but for other people or even your best friend, it is not advisable, of course. Before I will proceed to this identifying risk, I just want to give you a way on how you'll be able, or steps on how you'll be able to change your password. It is a good practice to change your password periodically. So for example, monthly, no, every 5th of the month, and others. To change your Windows 10 password in your computer, click Start, then click Settings, click Account, then click Sign In Options. Under Password, click Change. Type your old password, then click Next. Type your new password. Type your new password again as a confirmation. Enter a password hint, then click Next. Then click Finish. Often, if you are a member of a domain network, you will be required to change your password at regular intervals. If you are using a domain account, use these steps to change your logon password. Press Ctrl plus Alt plus Delete. Click Change a Password. Type your old password. Type your new password. Type your new password again as a confirmation. Then, press Enter. Locking the system. Ideally, you should log off your system if you are going to be away from it for any period of time. And this practice protects your computer and your documents. However, a more convenient option is to lock the system while you are away. When you lock the system, all your programs and files remain open and ready so you can resume working quickly. Windows displays an image on the monitor and you must enter the logon password before you can resume working. To lock the screen or system, click Start, click your account icon in the upper right corner of the Start menu, then click Lock. Identifying risk. You should be aware of the potential risk you face when you connect to a network or to the internet. These risks include becoming infected with computer viruses and Trojan horses. These are programs designed with a specific intent for harming computer systems, and you should understand how to detect and remove malicious code on your system before it harms your computer, your data, or data on the network to which you connect. Viruses. A virus is a malicious program designed to take control of system operations and damage or destroy data. Viruses are loaded into your computer without your knowledge and run without your consent. All computer viruses are human-made and are often designed to spread to other computer users through networks or email address books. Viruses can be transferred via email attachments, program or file downloads, and by using infected disks, CDs, or flash drives. If you pass an infected drive to a coworker, that coworker system can also be infected. Similarly, a colleague might inadvertently send you an email attachment infected by a virus. If you attempt to open or print the file, the virus will engage. Email attachments have long been a favorite way to spread viruses. A virus can, of course, display harms messages on the screen. A virus use all available memory, thereby slowing or halting all other processes. A virus corrupt or destroy data files. And a virus, of course, can erase the contents of the entire hard disk. A worm. A worm is a self-replicating program that consumes system and network resources. The difference between a worm and a virus is that a worm automatically spreads from one computer to another, whereas a virus requires some form of actions. For example, a user must pass an infected disk to someone else, or must forward an infected email message. A worm can reside in active memory and replicate on the network. Worms can spread to all computers connected to a network and are commonly spread over the internet via email attachment. Trojan or Trojan horse. It is a program designed to allow a hacker remote access to a target computer system. The code for a Trojan is hidden inside seemingly harmless applications, such as games. Trojans are installed on the target system when the user runs an infected application. Unlike worms and viruses, Trojans do not replicate themselves or copy themselves to other files in disk. Once installed on the target system, the Trojan can allow a hacker to take control of the target system, steal information, install other software including viruses, download or upload files, or crash the system. Trojans can be accidentally installed through software downloads. For example, a Trojan might be hidden in a software application download from a network, through websites containing active content that is in the form of ActiveX control, or through an email attachment. Spyware. Actually, spyware in Adware is a malware. A spyware is a software application that is secretly placed on your system and gathers personal or private information without your consent or knowledge. An adware is a software application that automatically displays or downloads advertisements. Many internet-based applications contain spyware. Companies with both good and bad reputations have included spyware code in their software. Spyware can also be placed on your system by a virus or by an application downloaded from the internet. When installed, spyware monitors your activity on the internet and conveys the information to the spyware originator. The originator can then gather website usage, email, and even password information from your system, then use it for advertising purposes or malicious activities. Spyware can consume memory resources and network bandwidth. Spyware has the ability to scan files on hard drives, read cookies, monitor keystrokes, install other spyware applications, change the default home page in web browsers, and automatically send information to the spyware developer. A cookie is a small text file placed on your computer by a web server. Although cookies themselves are not dangerous, They can be used to store username and password if you click yes. When your browser asks you if you want to store this information, cookies also track browser activities such as a site you visit and option you select. In a normal internet transaction, cookies are read only by the server that placed them on your system. However, a hacker who gains physical access to your system or successfully installs spyware can steal your cookies, and with them, any stored usernames and passwords. You can download and install freeware, spyware, adware applications, or you can use Windows Defender to monitor your system for spyware. Anti-spyware applications are going to discuss later. Network connection. Anytime you join a network, you open your system up to possible connections from other systems participating in the same network. Infected systems or would-be hackers connected to the network always present a risk. Wired connection. Generally speaking, if you connect to a wired network within your school or business, you are pretty safe. Network administrators take great pains to ensure that all company or school systems are routinely scanned for infection, and all users must log on to the network using a valid username and password. However, the same guarantee is not in place when you plug into a public wired network. For example, some hotels still provide Ethernet connections for internet access to their guests. There is no way to guarantee that every hotel guest who connects is an honest and upstanding citizen who would never dream of trying to hack into someone else's system or who would never consider trying to unleash a virus. Nor is there a way to guarantee that everyone connecting to the network is using up-to-date antivirus software. You connect at your own risk. We have what we call wireless connections. This same risk apply to Wi-Fi connections. Anyone can join a Wi-Fi network provided by a public spot or hotspot. Even if you connect to a secure network, one that requires a passphrase provided by a hotel, for example, you still do not know who else is on the network. No one can guarantee that all the systems connected are virus-free, and no one can guarantee that there is not a hacker lurking in the background waiting to find a system he or she can exploit. Participating in ad hoc networks, those which do not use an access point, is dangerous. Wireless systems connect directly to one another in an ad hoc network. There is no access point at the center to relay signals among the participants. There is also no authentication required. That means anyone within range can connect, with or without your knowledge. Mitigating risk. Whenever you connect to a public network, always identify the network to the operating system as a public network, as opposed to a work or home network. Windows automatically limits incoming connections from a public network, while still allowing you access to the internet. If you use Wi-Fi, always connect to an infrastructure network. Avoid participating in ad hoc networks. Using public computers. The risks associated with using public computers, such as those found in a library, have to do with protecting your privacy and your personal accounts. Remember that anyone who has physical access to a public computer can access any information stored on it. Because you do not log on to public computer, all activity is performed under one open account. That means search history, cookies, and any other information that is stored on a computer is accessible. For this reason, you should take the following steps to ensure your safety when you use a public computer. Number 1, Log out of online accounts. If you log into an online account, for example, a banking account or credit card account, or even a social media account, and then walk away without logging out, anyone who comes along behind you can access those accounts and take action within those accounts because maybe because you are still logging. You are leaving yourself wide open to both monetary thief and identify thief. Number two, clear caches and cookies. Browser stored information such as browsing history and search history in a storage location called caches, pronounced as caches, which are located on the hard disk. Browsers also stored cookies, small text files, and contain information pertaining to website activity from sites that you visit. These entries are stored in plain text so anyone can navigate to and view them. If you want your online activity to remain private, use the built-in features in your browser to clear these entries. You will learn how to work with browser in a living online module later. Also, do not allow the browser to store your password for online sites account. Last, of course, is log out of the operating system. If you use a shared computer at school or at work that requires a personal log-on, always log out when you are finished. Logging out prevents other users from using your account to access personal files stored under your profile. Additionally, logging out prevents an authorized user from gaining illicit access to the network. Social engineering. It is the practice of tricking users into giving out passwords or other types of access information. Social engineers possess as fellow employees or classmates, technical consultants, or cleaning staff in order to gain the trust of real employees or students. Social engineers count on people's desire to be helpful. For example, a social engineer may wait near a secure door that requires a smart card for access and wait until a legitimate employee is about to enter. The social engineer could then approach the door carrying an armload of boxes. Out of courtesy, the real employee may then hold the door open so the social engineer can enter. Social engineers also attempt to imitate a legitimate user by confusing a switchboard operator or a security guard. In several instances, a social engineer has called a company, posing as the systems manager. After explaining that he had accidentally locked himself out of the computer, he convinced someone in the company to change administrative access according to his instruction. All the social engineers then had to do was log on to the machine, and he had full administrative access. Typical targets of the social engineering strategy include anyone who has access to information about systems they do not use, including secretaries, janitors, some administrators, and even security staff. Reducing the risk of social engineering. The best way to guard against becoming a victim of social engineering is to recognize common social engineering practices. Following is a brief list of social engineering strategies. Posing a technician as a technician and using that implied authority to cause employees to divulge informations, to make configuration changes to servers, or to obtain sensitive information. Confusing or intimidating an employee or guard into allowing physical access to a building. Sending official-looking email messages to all employees with instruction that cause them to reveal sensitive information. Phishing. It is the process of trying to gather sensitive information such as password or credit card details from an unsuspected victims by pretending to be a trustworthy entity. Typically, a phisher sends a legitimate looking email message that appears to come from a legitimate source, such as your bank or credit card company. The email message generally includes a false alert and instructs you to take a particular action. For example, you might receive an email message altering you that suspicious activity has been detected on your credit card account. The email will include a link and directions that instruct you to click the link to visit the website where you will be expected to enter account-specific information. When you click the link, you are taken to a fraudulent website made to look just like the legitimate site. When you update your personal information such as password, credit card, or bank account number on the fraudulent website, the phisher captures your information and can then use it for malicious purposes, including identity thief. To protect yourself against phishing, enable the anti-phishing features in your browsers. Check an unknown site manually in web browser. For Internet Explorer, click Tools, point to Safety, then click Check this website. Avoid clicking links in email messages. If a message appears to have come from a bank, credit card, company, or government agency, you just first call the organizations directly to discuss the email message. Open, you will be informing the genuine company that a fraud scheme is in place so they can send appropriate notices to their clients. Before logging in to the secure site, check the address bar to be sure that address starts with a legitimate site name. As much as possible, it must be in the HTTPS format in your hypertext transfer protocol. Secure. Protecting yourself. Although there are certain risks associated with computing, there are also several tools and practices designed to keep your computer, and your information safe. We have antivirus software. An easy way to protect against viruses is to use antivirus software to scan your computer to known viruses and to eliminate any viruses that are discovered. Antivirus applications generally include options for automatically scanning email attachments as they are delivered to your inbox, scanning downloading files, and scanning scripts that are executed within installed browsers. Most antivirus applications include anti-spyware components as well. You can manually start a scan on your system, and you can schedule regular scans using the application setting. As soon as you installed antivirus software, scan the computer for any possible viruses that could already be resident, and you should also schedule regular system scans. Additionally, you should subscribe immediately for automatic updates for the virus definition files and updates for the program. All versions of antivirus software include free and frequent updates to the virus definition files that enable the program to recognize and remove the latest viruses. You can configure the software for automatic updates through the application settings. Always keep your antivirus program updated. It is generally a good practice to scan the system again after updates are installed. Avoiding viruses. Conducting regularly scheduled scans keeps your software up to date, and enabling automatic scans of email and downloaded files will go a long way toward keeping your system virus-free. Other steps you can take to avoid infection include saving and then scanning all files you download from the internet, Scanning removable media, CD, DVD, or flash drive before copying or opening files contained on the media. If you share files with other people using portable devices, scan any files you plan to give to others to ensure you do not inadvertently pass a virus onto them. Always configure your antivirus application to scan all incoming and outgoing email messages. Always scan email attachment before opening them, even if they come from people you know. Be suspicious of any unexpected attachment you receive with email or instant message transmission. If you receive an attachment that you did not expect or do not recognize, number 1, advice, do not open the attachment. Try to contact the message sender, of course using a method other than email, and determine whether the attachment is legitimate. If you are unable to contact the sender or the sender is unaware of the attachment, delete the attachment from the message. Open your deleted items folder and delete the attachment from it to permanently remove the attachment from your system. The best protection is prevention. However, you should understand that most viruses can be removed without causing permanent damage to your system. Before firewalls, how will be able to remove viruses? When an antivirus program is running, it will scan the files you select. When it finds a virus or threat, it will give you the option to quarantine or remove the threat. If you elect to quarantine the infected files, the antivirus program will place the infected file in a quarantined or vault area where it cannot infect other files. Quarantined files can usually be deleted at any time. If you elect to remove the file, the antivirus program will permanently delete this file from your system. You usually do not need to do anything else. If the antivirus finds a virus that cannot be removed, it will still quarantine the infected file. You may be able to find a removal tool for this virus on the antivirus program's website. Generally, you will need to download the file and then follow the instruction for removing the virus from your system. Alternatively, you may need to research how to remove the infected file manually. It bears repeating that it is extremely important to keep antivirus software up to date and configure to automatically download updates. It is equally important to keep the email scanner and resident scanner portions of the application turned on. Regular system scans are recommended and this can be scheduled. You can also manually start a scan at any time. Firewalls. Firewall is a security barrier that filters and controls the flow of information coming into and out of a private network. Firewalls protect systems from unauthorized access by filtering the information that comes through the internet connections into your local area networking or computer system. If an incoming packet of an information is flagged by the firewall filters, it is not allowed through. In this way, firewalls prevent dangerous network traffic from coming into the local area networking. The filters used by firewalls are simply set of rules that define and control which type of traffic to allow and which type of traffic to block. In an organization, a network administrator can set up and implement security rules on a firewall that control how employees connect to websites, whether instant messaging applications are allowed, whether files are allowed to leave the company over the network, and so on. A firewall protects your network from malicious activity coming from outside your network and provides a door through which people can communicate between a secured network and the open unsecured internet. A network firewall is placed between a local area networking in the internet. A firewall can be a dedicated computer system, a specialized firewall appliance, or it can be implemented on a networking device such as a router. In a home or a small office networking environment where a broadband router is used, a firewall is usually built into the broadband router. And we need to take note that firewalls keep private data private. They do not, however, encrypt data, nor do they protect against viruses. The desktop firewalls. Firewalls can also be implemented through software, also known as personal firewalls. Desktop firewalls offer protections for an individual system instead of a network or entire network. Tools such as Norton 360 or ABG can detect and respond to attacks on the computer system. Desktop firewall offer many firewall features such as inspection of all incoming transmission for security threats. When a firewall is used in conjunction with antivirus software, a person's computer is secure, provided that the user updates these applications frequently. Many operating systems include built-in or yung native desktop firewall software. Windows, for example, includes Windows Firewall, which is enabled by default. Mac OS X also ships with a built-in firewall, which you can enable from the Security and Privacy tab and a System Settings. So, what will be the firewall challenges? Firewalls can present challenges to network users. Sometimes, firewall setting block access to particular websites or block streaming audio or video from coming into a network. If your corporate system is behind a firewall and you have difficulty connecting to specific internet sites or services, you may need to contact a network administrator who can then adjust the firewall configurations. You may also learn, however, that the service or website you want to access conflicts with your organization's security policy. Monitoring software. Most network administrators protect their networks through network monitoring software. This program tracks and records network activity such as user logons, server performance, and network traffic conditions. If logon events are tracked, then anytime you log on to a network system, that activity is recorded in a server log. If a hacker logs on using your account and manage to damage the network, the electronic trail may lead to you. If you suspect that your account has been compromised, contact the network administrator immediately so you can change your username and password. In some organizations, administrators take monitoring to a whole other level by installing PC surveillance software. Software of this type records all PC activity, allowing the administrator to capture your keystrokes, view screenshots, and see your email, instant message conversation, and web activity. Remember that computers in your school or workplace are not your private property. Accordingly, an activity you perform on those computers may not be private. Conducting safe e-commerce transaction. How safe you feel conducting transactions such as banking or making a purchase online will determine how much e-commerce or electronic commerce or online shopping you do. Many websites have taken appropriate steps to ensure their customer security, but there are additional steps you can take to protect yourself. Take note, be selective. If you want to shop online, shop from companies that have a good reputations and are well known for providing a good customer service, a reliable delivery, and a fair and easy return policy. Choose e-commerce sites carefully. Legitimate e-commerce sites will display links to their privacy policy and terms and condition statements on their web pages. Read these statements and be sure that you understand the conditions or requirements you will be subject to should you decide to do business with the vendor. Exercise skepticism. If a company offers a deal that seems too good to be true, research that deal. Take the same precautions you would take if someone made that offer offline. Take note, would you give a large sum of money to a person without researching the product or service they are selling? If the company is not known to you, be sure to research it before purchasing anything online. Call the contact number listed on the site. Look for a client list or for customers' references, reviews, and research them with organizations that track good and bad reports about companies, such as the Better Business Bureau or the BBB. Always use secure transaction. While you are browsing the internet, the address bar in your browsers use the Hypertext Transfer Protocol or the HTTP. However, anytime you exchange personal information with a web server, such as when you set up an account or enter financial information, a secure protocol should be used. To conduct secure transaction over the internet, web servers use Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure or HTTPS instead of HTTP alone. This is a secure version of HTTP. It encrypts all exchanges between your computer and the web server. The HTTPS protocol and black icon in the address bar indicate that you are in a secure area of the vendor's website and that transactions can be conducted safely. Web transactions are secured using encryption, which is the process of converting data into an readable form. Click the lock icon to view details pertaining to the security of the connection. The web server proves its identity to the browser through a digital certificate. A digital certificate is a small file that provides the identity of the individual or company over the internet. A trusted third party, called a certificate authority or CA, is responsible for verifying the legitimacy of the digital certificate. You can view details about the digital certificate by clicking an option presented in the web browser. Always look for the HTTPS protocol and the lock icon to ensure that you are conducting secure transactions over the internet. Other symbols that may display on the page indicating that you can trust the vendor are nice to look at but do not guarantee that transactions are secured. Your browser has built-in features to let you know when transactions are secure. Use them. The virtual private network. The network administrator puts a lot of effort into blocking unauthorized connections from the outside in the LAN or local area network. However, they must also provide a method for allowing unauthorized connections from the outside. Connecting from outside the network is known as a remote access. Security is an especially important component of remote access because communication across a public network such as the internet. It is vulnerable to interception or eavesdropping. Authentication is the process of confirming the identity of the user or the computer system. Again, authentication is the process of confirming the identity of a user or computer system. Encryption is the process of converting data into an unreadable form or text, which then requires a decryption key in order to be read. In the past, remote access was provided through remote access servers, modems, and dedicated phone lines. In most modem networks, however, access is obtained using a virtual private network connection. A VPN is encrypted connection between two computers. VPNs allow secure private communication across long distances. Again, a VPN is an encrypted connection between two computers. VPNs allow secure private communications across long distances using the internet as the pathway for communication instead of using a dedicated private line. VPNs make it possible for telecommunicators and traveling remote employees to establish a secure connections to the company network from outside the company premises. A VPN also make it possible for a company with several satellite offices to establish secure connections between all their locations. Using VPN, telecommunicators, remote employees, and traveling employees use VPN to connect to their company networks from the outside. In order for the network to support VPN connections, a VPN server must be set up to receive incoming connections. Any users who wants to make a VPN connections from a remote location, for example from home or from hotel room, must install and then launch VPN client software to open a connections with the VPN server. Users must log on using a valid username and password, just as if they were logging on to the network from inside the corporate office or the school office. Backup and restore. A computing device is useful only if the data is contained is valid and accessible. An easy way to protect data is to schedule regular backups. Backup is a duplicate copy of a program, a disk, or data made either for archiving purposes or for safeguarding files from loss if the active copy is damaged or destroyed. Backup should be written on a storage medium other than the source of the backup. That is, if you are backing up your hard drive, do not create the backup on the same hard drive. Instead, choose a location such as a different internal hard drive, an external hard drive, a flash drive, CD or DVD, or a network location such as a network server hard disk, or a cloud location such as OneDrive. Keeping a current backup of all your important files is essential to ensuring that your data can be recovered in the event of a failure or loss. Windows includes built-in features that make it easy and convenient to back up both system data and your personal files. Back up your personal files. The operating system, drivers, personalization setting, apps, and other software can be reinstalled on a computer fairly easily should they become damaged or accidentally deleted. Your personal files, on the other hand, cannot be easily replaced or recreated. Your personal files are your documents, your photos, videos, downloads, and so on. Think of how long it took you to create and refine your office files. Think of the old photos you have scanned and saved on your disk, or the new wedding or graduation day videos you might have transferred to and even edited on your computer. Would it be easy to replace this if something happened to your hard drive? Your personal files are the most important items to back up on your computer. You have choices on how you want to back up your personal files, including copying files to cloud storage. This is an easy as dragging important files to your local OneDrive, Dropbox, or iCloud folder. You have already learned how to back up files using cloud storage. Using file history in Windows 10. This feature configures Windows 10 to automatically create an hourly backup of your personal files whether the destination media is connected to the PC. For example, an internal hard drive or flash drive. Using Windows Backup and Restore. It is features from Windows 7 that configures Windows to automatically create a weekly backup of all important files of the computer. This includes your personal files and the files saved in the default Windows folder. It is used by the operating system. Actually, these are the operating system files, settings, registry entries, and so on. Backup and restore requires significant storage space. We have file history. The file history feature is the main backup tool in Windows 10 for backing up your personal files. Additionally, it is automatically stored a version story for your files, allowing you to restore previous version of a file if needed. To use file history, configure it once and keep the selected backup media connected. To configure the feature, connect an external drive, open the setting app, and then click Update in Security to open the Update in Security window. In the left pane of the window, click Backup. Then, click Add a Drive. Then, select an external drive in the Select a Drive window. The Automatically Backup My Files option will appear and will be automatically turned on. Window will back up your files to the drive whenever you connect it to your computer. Then, click More Options to view the backup option page. Use the setting on this page to control how to open to backup and how open to keep backup files. You can create a backup immediately by clicking the Backup Now button, and you can specify which folder under your user profile to include in the backup. By default, these folders include desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos, and more. You can add or exclude folders as required. Windows Backup and Restore. You can use Windows Backup and Restore to back up the entire system or only the files and folders you select. You can allow Windows to choose what to back up, or you can select the individual folders, libraries, and drives that you want to back up. By default, backups are created on a regular schedule. You can change the schedule and you can create a backup manually at any time. Once you set up Windows Backup, Windows keeps tracks of the files and folders that you are new or modified and adds them to your backup, assuming that your specified backup storage media is connected to the system at the time of the scheduled backup. If you have never used Windows Backup before, you need to set it up first by following the steps in the wizard. Open the control panel and navigate to System and Security. Click Backup and Restore for Windows 7, of course, page, then click Setup Backup. Select the destination for the backup file, then click Next. By default, Windows will back up data saved in libraries onto the desktop and in the default Windows folder. Windows will also create a system image which can be used to restore your computer if it stops working. Click Next if you want to accept the default settings, or click Let me choose to specify custom settings. You are given an opportunity to review the current backup system settings. Click Change Schedule if you want to adjust the backup schedule. By default, Windows run a backup every Sunday at 7 p.m. However, you can configure Windows to run a daily, weekly, or monthly backup. You can also specify not to schedule any further backup. Click Save Settings and Run Backup to create a backup. In restoring personal files, if you accidentally delete a file that you need, or if one of your files become corrupted, you can easily restore it to your hard drive from the saved backup media. If you back up using OneDrive, simply copy the required files or folders from the OneDrive folder and paste them in your hard drive using File Explorer. If you back up using File History, open the Setting app, click Update in Security, click Backup, and then left pane, click More Options, scroll to the bottom of the window and click Restore Files from a current backup. Select the files or folders you want, then click the green button to restore them to your computer. If you back up using Backup and Restore, open the control panel and navigate to System and Security. Click Backup and Restore in Windows 7 page, then click the Restore My Files button to open the Restore File windows. Use the browser for files and browse for folders buttons to select the specific files and folders you want to restore. When you have selected all the files and folders you want to restore, click Next. Specify whether you want to restore the files to their original location or to a different location. Then, click Restore. When the restoration is complete, click Finish. To secure the backups, as an individual user, you may not give much thought to backing up. You have complete control over how often you back up your files, or whether you even back them up at all. However, the people responsible for protecting an organization's data must adhere to well-defined backup policies and procedures. Businesses which handle other people's personal information are required by law to maintain and secure backups for a requisite number of years. For example, financial information or medical information. That is, the data must remain accessible and it must be protected from unauthorized access. Maintaining secure backups requires a compliance with at least the following rules. The backup should be redundant. That is, there should be more than one copy of any given backup. At least one copy of the backup should be stored off-site. Storing backups is another physical location ensured that if disasters like earthquake or a fire strikes and a company's computers are destroyed, along with any backups that are stored on the premises, there is still a copy of the backup data that is safe. Off-site storage location must be secure. That is, only authorized personnel should be able to physically access the backup media. Actually, those with a key or a passcode. Backups should be encrypted. Encryption prevents unauthorized users from using any information they manage to intercept or steal, because without the decryption key, the data is unreadable. Backup should be verified. This means that someone should check the backup media to be sure that the information copied to it is accessible and complete. There are many government regulations pertaining to protecting people's private information. Companies take these regulations very seriously. Backing up PC systems, files, and settings. System files are vital to the functions of the operating system, and they can become corrupt over time. Additionally, system settings can become damaged or misconfigured as the software, updates, drivers, and apps are installed. System file corruption or misconfigurations can lead to problems using your computer. For example, some applications may stop working, or the system might start freezing up, or some hardware may cease to function. In some cases, you may not be able to boot up at all. Windows includes several built-in tools you can use to back up system files. You can use the backup to recover damaged files or to reverse misconfigurations. These tools include System Restore Points, System Image Files. Even if you are not experiencing enough to use these advanced tools to recover or repair your computer on your own, system file backups are invaluable tool in the hands of a technical specialist who can use them to restore your system for you. System Restore Points. A restore point is a save snapshot of your computer's Windows system files, program files, and Windows registry setting at a specific point in time. User files are not included in a restore point. Restore points are named and stored by their creation date. System Restore is a protection feature built into Windows. However, it must be enabled before any restore points can be created. To ensure that this protection feature is enabled on your Windows 10 system, click in the taskbar search box, then type Restore. Click Create a Restore Point in the Start menu to open the System Protection tab in the System Properties dialog box. Click your hard drive in the Available Drives list box. If on, displays in the protection column, then the feature is enabled. If protection is turned off for your hard drive, click Configure. Click Turn on System Protection. Drag the max usage slider to about the 5% point between the first two tick marks on the scale. This reserves a portion to a hard disk for storage of restore points. Click Apply, then click OK. Click OK once more to close the System Properties dialog box. When it is enabled, System Restore automatically creates restore points on your system once per week and before major system events such as installing a program or a device driver or installing operating system updates. You can also manually create a restore point at any time. To manually create a restore point, click in the taskbar search box, then type Restore. Click Create a Restore Point in the Start menu to open the System Protection tab in the System Properties dialog box. Click Create. Type a name for the restore point, then click Create. When the message that a restore point was successfully created appears, click Close, then click OK. When you restore from a restore point, System Restore restores the system files, program files, and registry setting from the restore point to your computer. This effectively rollbacks your system to a previous state. This is useful when unexpected problems occur. For example, after an update, you may discover that you can't launch certain programs, or maybe when you try to access the internet, system freezes. If you use System Restore and select a restore point that was created before you installed the update, this can restore your system files to the previous state before any problem occurred. You may want to ask a technical specialist to guide you through rolling back your system to a restore point. However, these steps are: click in the taskbar search box, then type Restore. Click Create a Restore Point in the Start menu to open the System Protection tab in the System Property dialog box. Click System Restore, then click Next to display a list of saved restore points. The most recently created restore points appear at the top of the list, and you can select the Show More Restore Points checkbox to view all the restore points. Select the restore point you want to roll back to, then click Next. Click Finish and follow the prompts that appear. System image or repair disk. A system image is an exact image of a hard drive. It includes windows in your system settings, programs, and files. You can use a system image to restore the contents of your computer. If your hard drive on computer ever stopped working. When you restore your computer from an system image, it is complete restoration. You cannot choose individual items to restore, and all your current programs, system setting, and files are replaced. When you create backup using Windows Backup and Restore, Windows create a system image. When the image is created, you are given the option to create a repair disk, which you can use to boot your computer and begin the process of recreating your system from an image. You can also create a system image at any time by following the steps. Number 1, connect an external hard drive or other removable media with a large storage capacity. Click in the taskbar search box, then type backup. Click backup and restore in Windows 7 control panel in the start menu to open the backup and restore Windows 7 page in the control panel. Click the create a system image link. Select the media in which to create the image, then click next. Confirm the setting, then click start backup. A technical specialist can guide you through the process of recovering your system from an image file, or you can provide the image file media to the specialist if he or she will be making repairs. Backupping your mobile data. It is always a good idea to back up your personal data, such as contacts, saved text messages, and photos on your mobile devices. You can use a USB cable and copy the data to your PC. Or you can use the phone's built-in backup utilities and associated cloud storage. You can also turn on automatic backup so that your data is continually backed up. If you are using Android phones are connected to a Google account, and Google can automate and streamline the backup process. Go to Settings, Personal, Backup, and Reset. Turn on both Backup My Data and Automatic Restore. Ensure that your backup account is set to your Gmail account. Turning these options on ensure that your personal data are always backed up and can easily be restored. Of course, including application data, Wi-Fi password, bookmarks, and other settings. If you are using iPhone or iOS, devices running iOS can be backed up using iCloud or iTunes. iCloud stores backups in the cloud, while iTunes stores backups on your Mac or PC. To make a backup using iCloud, connect to a Wi-Fi network. Tap Settings, iCloud, Backup. Make sure iCloud Backup is turned on. Tap Backup Now, and to make a backup using iTunes, open iTunes and connect your device to your computer. Save content that you downloaded from the iTunes Store or App Store by clicking File, Devices, Transfer, Purchases. To create your backup, click Backup Now. Using factory reset options for PC. When you use factory reset options on your device, you are resetting the device to the state it was when it came out of the factory. Clean, new, ready to be set up. Sometimes you may want to reset a device because it is running slowly or improperly and you just want to start over from scratch. Other times, you will want to reset a device that you are getting ready to donate or give to another person. Always create a backup of your personal files before resetting your device. Windows 10 Refresh and Reset. The Refresh and Reset options enable you to restore the Windows operating system to a default configurations without having to reinstall the operating system from a DVD or USB drive. Refreshing a PC. It gives you a fresh installation of Windows without deleting your personal files, your personalization settings, or apps that you installed from the Windows Store. Applications that you install from installation media or from the internet will be removed, however. If you are experiencing problems with your computer, performing a refresh may resolve the issue. For example, the computer presets or applications will not load. Resetting a PC. Resetting a PC gives you a fresh installation of Windows and preserves nothing. It is just like formatting the hard disk and starting over with a fresh installation of the operating system. All your personal files, personalization settings, apps, and applications will be removed, and your PC setting will be changed back to their defaults. Use the reset options to set your computer back to its factory default states. These options also allows you to fully clean the drive, which is considered best practice if you want to donate the PC because it makes it difficult for other people to recover the files you remove. To refresh or reset your Windows 10 PC, click Start, Settings, Update in Security. In the left panel, click Recovery. Then under Reset this PC, click Get Started. In the Choose an Option box, select either Keep My Files or Remove Anything. Resetting mobile devices. Mobile devices include a factory reset feature that restores the device to the state it was and when it left the factory. Resetting such as personal accounts, ringtones, screensavers, network passwords, and so on. Resetting your phone or tablet may be necessary for troubleshooting purposes, although most people use these options only when they are planning to donate or gift their mobile device. Remember that if you use a GSM mobile device, the installed SIM cards include your personal account information. Always remove the SIM card before donating or giving your phone to someone else. Always back up your personal files before resetting. For Android phone, depending on the version of Android you are using, you may find that in addition to an option for performing a factory data reset, you can use option for resetting only the phone settings or for resetting only the network settings. To restore your Android device to its factory setting, go to Settings, Personal, Backup, and Reset. Tap Personal Data Reset. Tap Reset Phone. If your smartphone or tablet has expandable storage, the menu may ask if you like to wipe the external memory card, which is not really necessary since you can pop the card out of the slot. How about if you are using iPhone or iOS? In iOS 7 and up, a security feature called Activation Lock requires an Apple ID used to set up the phone initially in order to reset it. If you do not disable Activation Lock, the next person who gets your iPhone won't be able to use it. You can disable the Activation Lock by turning off iCloud, Find My iPhone. To turn off iCloud or Find My iPhone, go to Settings, tap iCloud, scroll to the bottom of the screen, and tap Sign Out. Enter your Apple ID, iCloud password if prompted. To restore your iOS device to its factory setting, go to Setting, tap General, tap Reset, tap Erase All Contents and Setting, and enter your passcode if prompted. Tap Erase to proceed. Take note, industry experts recommend that you encrypt your phones or tablets data before resetting if you plan to sell or give your phone away. Encrypting the data before resetting ensures any personal data left behind will be unusable, even for people with advanced technical know-how. Troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is a systematic approach to solving a problem. Essentially, it is an organized process of trial and error. You may need to try several different approaches before you can narrow down and find a solution. And generally, you use a process of elimination. This means you make it a list of things that could be causing the problem and then test them out one by one to eliminate them as the cause. Here are some general troubleshooting tips. Write down your steps. This will help you remember exactly what you've done and prevent you from testing the same possible causes again. Or, take detailed notes about any error messages you see, writing down as much information as possible. Or, you can use the snipping tool built into Windows to take a screen capture of the error message. Having a record of the error messages can help you research them online or describe them to a professional who is trying to help you resolve your issues. Is it hardware or software? Often, the first step in troubleshooting is determining whether your issue is caused by the hardware or software. It is not always easy to determine which might be causing a particular issue because software and hardware are designed to work together. However, the points you consider for each and the items you check off your list as part of your process of elimination are different for hardware and software. The hardware you will troubleshoot is often large and self-contained. For example, you might troubleshoot issues with your printer or a monitor or a mouse or keypad. These devices usually include switches, indicators, lights, and connection ports which are easily examined. To investigate possible hardware issues, begin with the obvious. Is there power? Is the hardware device plugged in? If it is plugged in into a surge protector, is the surge protector switch on? Is the device power on? If the device uses batteries, are the batteries installed? If batteries are installed, do they still have a sufficient charge? Is there a good connection? If the device is connected to your computer by a cable, is the cable securely connected to both your device and the computer? If the device and your computer are securely connected, is the cable damaged? If you are using a wireless connection, is the wireless receiver connected? If you're using a wireless mouse or keyboard, do they have good batteries and they are turned on? Are there easily observable issues with the hardware device that need to be addressed before the device will function? For example, if you suddenly find that you cannot print a document and you have already determined the printer is plugged in and powered on, is there paper loaded? Is there paper jam? Is the printer out of ink? Are there any error messages displayed on the information panel or on the printer? And of course, the software. Software issues are sometimes a little more difficult to track down. However, symptoms of a software issues are applications that stop running correctly, application that freeze, or application don't start. Software issues can also cause the computer to freeze or not boot up correctly. Things to consider when you run across issues like this include: did you install an update recently? Sometimes operating systems updates can cause errors when an application program. The next question to ask yourself are: does closing and then restarting the application solve the problem? Does restarting the computer and relaunching the application solve the problem? Is the application up to date? Can you find and install updates for it? Can you run the application program in compatibility mode? If your system freezes up consistently or will not boot correctly after installing an update, cloud rolling back the update using a restore point resolve the issue. Could your system be infected with virus? Run a virus scan to ensure that an infection is not interfering with your application programs. Troubleshooting connection issues. Another common cause for troubleshooting is network connection issues. Your system might be humming along just fine, and then all of a sudden, you can no longer connect to the internet. There are a few things you can check and try before calling the IT staff at work or school, or before calling your ISP if you are experiencing network problems at home. Check your IP address using either the inconfig, ifconfig, command line tool, or the Windows Network in Sharing Center. Remember that most LAN IP addresses resemble the following: 192.168.1.103. If your IP address begins with 1.69.254, or if your IP address is display as 0.0.0.0, then your system has not received a valid IP address from the broadband router in your home network. These devices provide IP addresses for all systems connecting to the network. If your system has a valid IP address, but you cannot connect to the internet, you may need to restart your broadband modem. Sometimes, your ISP will send software updates to their users. Modems and open the modem requires a restart. Turn the modem and the broadband router off for 1 minute. Restore the modem. Once the modem is up and running, restart the router. Once both the modem and router have been restarted, restart your computer once more. If restarting your networking equipment does not resolve the issue, call your ISP. They may be experiencing a service outage, or they may be able to help you troubleshoot the issue over the phone. If you do call your ISP, be prepared to provide information to the technical specialists such as your current IP addresses and your connection speed. Remember that you view your network connections in the Network and Sharing Center, and that you can click your connections to view its details such as the connection speed and the IP address. If you have trouble connecting to your Wi-Fi network, check the following. Is your wireless adapter turned on? Sometimes, wireless adapters are turned off by a device in order to save battery power. Has the Wi-Fi network password changed? Network administrators sometimes change the Wi-Fi password if they suspect that the old password has been compromised. Are you close enough to the Wi-Fi hotspot? WLAN devices have limited range, especially if they are using older WAN or WLAN standards such as 802.11b or 802.11g. Don't be discouraged if troubleshooting takes a while. It is a process, and the more practice you get, the better you will become. So, before I'll end, I'll just want to give you a summary. In this lesson, you learn about the need for computer security, how to identify risk, and how to combat them. You also learn how to back up and restore files, and to reset devices. And you learn about the basic of troubleshooting, and you should now be able to explain the need for security, describe how to keep your username and password safe, describe the risk presented by viruses, worms, Trojans, and malware, describe the risk associated with network connections, protect your information when using a public computers, describe the risk presented by social engineering and phishing, describe methods for protecting against risk, explain how and why the backup or to backup and restore your data in your settings. You can explain how to reset personal devices to their factory settings. You can describe basic troubleshooting techniques, and now you understand basic troubleshooting techniques. So, thank you, and see you to the next module.